Typhoon Bebinca officially made landfall in Shanghai, China, with the intensity of a Category 1 storm. It is the strongest tropical storm to directly hit China's financial center, Shanghai, in more than 7 decades since 1949. On the morning of September 16th, the powerful Typhoon Bebinca landed in Lingang City, Pudong, Shanghai, with maximum wind speeds reaching level 14, 42 meters per second. The 1,000-ton damper of the Shanghai Tower swayed significantly, and local residents exclaimed, "The high-rise buildings in the community are shaking." Videos showed the 1,000-ton damper installed in the Shanghai Tower swaying significantly as Typhoon Bebinca struck. Other videos show that, at 1 a.m. on the 16th, some Shanghai residents sought shelter overnight. Many Shanghai netizens reported, "The town of Kowloon in Pudong is trembling, and the buildings in the community are shaking. I can't even leave my house." In Kowloon, the wind is so strong that I feel the roof and awning are about to be blown away. It feels like there's a tornado behind me, and it feels like the house is about to collapse. Due to the typhoon, all flights at Shanghai Pudong Airport and Hongqiao Airport were cancelled after 8 p.m. on the 15th. From 1 a.m. on the 16th, all highways in Shanghai were closed. Before Typhoon Bebinca made landfall, on September 15th, the sky in Shanghai turned purple-red, sparking heated discussions. At around 6 p.m. on the 15th, many Shanghai netizens posted that the sky in Shanghai suddenly turned purple-red. Videos circulated online showed that the evening sky in Shanghai turned shades of pink, purple, red, orange, and more. Mainland netizens commented, "Today's sky is a bit scary. Is it because the typhoon is coming? Oh my God, the sky is red now. Our side is yellow with a little red. Jinshan is dark purple. I saw the red sky with my own eyes. Is it purple or reddish? I'm in Xi'an, Shanghai, and it's so quiet outside. What a scary color. The sky in Shanghai is red. I can't take a picture. It feels like the end of the world. It was just dark, and suddenly the sky turned red. It's a bit abnormal. The sky is red, and I feel like I've traveled to the end of the world. Wow, the typhoon in Shanghai is so strange today. The sky has changed color. Be safe and try not to go out. This color is beautiful but also scary. It's better to stay home during a typhoon." Some people also said, "We Hainan people, who just experienced a typhoon, know this is the calm before the storm. This is the weather before a typhoon. Hainan people are very familiar with it." The sky also turned red before Typhoon Yagi came. Before Typhoon Bebinca hits, more than 370,000 people evacuated, trains suspended. Before the 13th typhoon of the year, Bebinca, hits eastern China. The Shanghai Meteorological Bureau upgraded the typhoon emergency response to level 1 as of 2 p.m. on the 15th. By 5 p.m., Shanghai had evacuated more than 377,000 people and 811 ships to shelter. The Central Meteorological Observatory said that the landfall of Bebinca coincided with the astronomical tide of the Mid-Autumn Festival. Zhejiang, Shanghai, Jiangsu, and other regions will be affected by a combination of wind, rain, and tidal disasters. Bebinca may become the strongest typhoon to land in Shanghai since 1949. The center of Typhoon Bebinca, categorized as a strong typhoon, landed in Lingang City, Pudong, Shanghai, around 7:30 a.m. on September 16th. The maximum wind speed near the center was 42 meters per second, level 14, at landfall, and the lowest central pressure was 955 hectopascals. Bebinca has also become the strongest typhoon to land in Shanghai in 75 years. From the night of September 15th to September 16th, Shanghai experienced heavy to torrential rain, with total rainfall reaching 60 to 90 millimeters, and up to 120 to 180 millimeters in some areas. The maximum hourly rainfall was 50 to 80 millimeters. The heaviest rainfall occurred from the early morning to noon on September 16th, with weakening after midnight. Beginning at 1 a.m. on September 16th, all highways in Shanghai were closed. According to the Central Meteorological Observatory, the landfall of Bebinca coincides with the period of astronomical high tides, and it is highly likely that wind, waves, and tides will converge. Under its influence, coastal waters off Shanghai and northern Zhejiang will see large waves of 4 to 6 meters. Affected by the typhoon, both of Shanghai's major airports suspended flights. According to an announcement by the Shanghai Airport Group on the 15th, the typhoon reduced the capacity of Pudong and Hongqiao airports. By 12 noon on the 15th, Pudong Airport had canceled 406 flights, and Hongqiao Airport had canceled 210 flights. After 8 p.m. on the 15th, all flights at both airports were canceled. Shanghai's two major airports are key civil aviation transportation hubs, with passenger throughput at Hongqiao and Pudong, ranking among the top 10 airports globally throughout the year. Wuxi Shuofang Airport announced on the same day that it would suspend flight operations from 12 a.m. to 2 p.m. on the 16th. As of 10 p.m. on September 14th, Zhoushan Airport and Ningbo Airport canceled 42 and 116 flights, respectively, on the 15th due to the typhoon. In addition, railway services were restricted, with many trains in Jiangsu, Zhejiang, and Shanghai delayed or suspended. According to an announcement by the Yangtze River Delta Railway on the 14th, affected by the typhoon, the railway department planned to temporarily suspend some passenger trains on the Hangzhou-Shenzhen High-Speed Railway, Hangzhou-Ningbo High-Speed Railway, Jinshan Line, Pudong Line, and other lines from the 15th to the 16th. Some trains on the Hangzhou-Taiwan High-Speed Railway, Hangzhou-Changsha High-Speed Railway, Shanghai-Kunming High-Speed Railway, Hefei-Hangzhou High-Speed Railway, and other lines were also suspended on the 16th. Zhejiang-Zhoushan, 10,000 people evacuated. According to Zhejiang Voice, on the morning of September 15th, nearly 10,000 people were evacuated from the Zhoushan Green Petrochemical Base on Yushan Island, Daishan County. More than 9,000 workers from over 50 small and medium-sized enterprises on the island boarded buses, carrying large and small bags for evacuation. The National Marine Forecasting Center of the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, upgraded the sea wave warning level to red at 10 p.m. on September 14th and issued a yellow storm surge warning in the afternoon of the same day. CCP claims government debt is around 70 trillion, while international organizations estimate it much higher. The State Council of the CCP recently reported on government debt in 2023 to the Standing Committee of the National People's Congress in Beijing. It was revealed that as of the end of last year, the total debt of the CCP government exceeded 70 trillion yuan, RMB, same below, with most of it being local debt. However, estimates from international organizations suggest that the actual debt of local governments is much higher than the official data released by the CCP. From September 10th to 13th, at the 11th meeting of the Standing Committee of the 14th National People's Congress, Finance Minister Lan Fuan presented a report on the management of government debt in 2023 on behalf of the State Council. This marks the first time that the CCP State Council has submitted a special report on government debt management to the National People's Congress for review. According to the report, as of the end of 2023, the national government's statutory debt balance was 70.77 trillion yuan. This includes a national debt balance of 30.03 trillion yuan and a local government statutory debt balance of 40.74 trillion yuan. However, public data indicates that estimates from international financial institutions regarding CCP local government debt are much higher than the official figures. For instance, an earlier report by the International Monetary Fund, IMF, estimated that China's local government debt reached 92 trillion yuan in 2022, accounting for 76% of GDP. Due to the high levels of local government debt, reports surfaced earlier this year suggesting that the Beijing authorities had instructed heavily indebted local governments to postpone or halt some state-funded infrastructure projects to control debt risks. According to a Reuters report on January 19th of this year, a source revealed that the CCP State Council issued instructions to local governments and state-owned banks, requiring 12 provinces and cities to delay or stop construction projects that had used less than half of their investment, in order to ensure that the central government could continue implementing stimulus measures for the weakened economy. 80% of small and micro enterprises are unable to recover. Business closures plague.
As the Chinese New Year approaches, the government's debt is causing hardship for migrant workers. As the end of the year approaches, contractors and migrant workers find themselves in dire straits, often facing repression or threats as they seek to recover overdue project funds and wages. Lei Ming, a contractor from Jiangsu province, revealed the dire situation faced by many who have undertaken government projects, resulting in financial ruin. This predicament stems from rampant corruption among local government officials and their lack of integrity, leading to prolonged delays in releasing project funds. Contractors and subcontractors are burdened with heavy debts due to the need to finance projects upfront. As the year-end approaches, they not only fail to recover project funds but also face pressure from creditors. Lei Ming explained that in one project, even if business is not good, the local Communist Party secretary still demands millions of yuan annually. Contractors like Lei Ming are left with only a fraction of their earnings, while their owed project funds are withheld, and they are forbidden from speaking out. Many have resorted to borrowing large sums from banks, only to have their properties and assets seized. Lei Ming recounted his involvement in a project to renovate shantytowns in Su Prefecture, where out of 36 buildings planned, only 12 were completed due to the county government's failure to provide funding. Attempts to demand payment from the county government were met with repression. After 4 years, with no payment received, half of the project remains unfinished. Lei Ming, along with hundreds of other small contractors and thousands of workers, faces continual struggles to claim their wages, often encountering arrest before reaching the county government office. The tightening grip of authorities prevents them from even carrying mobile phones or taking photos, with frequent summons to the police station for interrogation. Mr. Guo, a migrant worker from Fujian province, expressed that dozens of workers have had their wages withheld and face threats when demanding payment. With local government departments failing to take action, many workers have no choice but to return home early. They plan to only work as daily wage laborers in the future. Mr. Guo stated, "The houses in our unit are being renovated, and the contract was given to a third party. However, the third party did not pay our wages, claiming that they were instructed by the government to do so. We reported to the police and sought assistance from the street office, the court, and labor supervision, but no one has taken any action. We feel helpless." Mr. Liang, an employee of China Railway, revealed that it's common practice within state-owned enterprises like China Railway to delay payments for construction projects and other expenses. Despite being a publicly traded company, its financial reports are often embellished, masking the fact that it consistently operates at a loss. Mr. Liang stated, "When we build railways and roads, it's considered a political task, so delayed payments are frequent. Arrears in materials, labor fees, and subcontractor payments are widespread. It's common for subcontractors to be owed money, and it's not unusual for us to go several months without receiving our wages." As the Chinese New Year approaches, protests and wage disputes by workers are occurring daily across the country. On February 6, 2024, in Zhangjiang Town, Guidong City, the Hakka Impression City owed wages to 130 migrant workers. Despite petitioning efforts to the Guidong Petition Bureau, they were unsuccessful in obtaining their overdue salaries. Similarly, on February 5, 2024, in Huanghua City, Hebei Province, workers at Hebei Jinbang New Materials Company, Limited, involved in projects related to 80,000 tons of annual epoxy resin production and 200,000 tons of annual potassium sulfate production, blocked entrances and demanded overdue wages. Meanwhile, a large number of small and micro enterprises are closing down, exacerbating the already difficult situation for laborers. The unhealthy state of China's small and micro enterprises is affecting the employment of 180 million people. The Chinese economy continues to decline, with a recent survey by the Renmin University of China indicating that more than one-third of small and micro enterprises are financially unhealthy, facing numerous risks that could impact the employment prospects of 180 million people. The China Inclusive Finance Research Institute, COFI, of Renmin University conducted a study titled Financial Health of Small and Micro Enterprises based on 2,349 questionnaires, and recently released the report on the financial health of small and micro enterprises. The report highlights the need for particular attention to be paid to small and micro enterprises in regions such as Hunan and Shanxi, where the proportion of financially unhealthy enterprises is relatively high. In Guangxi and Chongqing, there is a phenomenon of polarization in the financial health of small and micro enterprises. Examining the time of establishment of enterprises, those established for 3 to 5 years and over 8 years tend to have poorer financial health, warranting focused attention. In terms of daily financial management, the issue of overdue accounts receivable is particularly severe for small and micro enterprises, leading to significant pressure on cash flow that requires special attention. Within the very unhealthy category, approximately 80% of small and micro enterprises are unable to recover accounts receivable on time. The Chinese economy is in a mess, with various waves of unemployment erupting, and homeowners facing foreclosure are forced to leave their homes and end up on the streets. This morning, our neighbor's house was foreclosed by the court just because they missed last month's mortgage payment. The court forced them to move out, and the couple, with 2 young children, one in elementary school and the other just starting kindergarten, were seen packing up their belongings. The family of 4, with the wife wiping away tears as she packed, and the husband standing nearby with a pale face, appeared distressed. The 2 children, unaware of what was happening, were happily playing in the corridor. It's really hard to imagine how they will manage to get by in the future. It might even lead to divorce. In fact, I've already handled hundreds of foreclosed properties in Shenzhen and have seen nearly 100 broken families. But even so, this situation still feels incredibly painful, like something is blocking my heart. So, I sincerely advise everyone that if you don't have much money on hand and your income isn't stable, be cautious about buying a house. Nowadays, many people buy houses like they buy cell phones. If a couple's combined monthly income is just over $10,000, they dare to buy a house with a monthly mortgage payment of over $10,000. My goodness! This kind of home buying behavior is simply suicidal. Buying a house now is completely different from before. In the past, you could buy a house with your eyes closed and still make a profit from rising prices. But now, houses have returned to being primarily for living and improving quality of life. Comfortable and affordable amenities are the top priority. Just make sure the size is adequate. To be honest, what's the scariest thing about living in Shenzhen? It's not having money. Everything requires money: food, children's education, even flushing the toilet. Even if you don't eat or drink, you still have to pay property management fees every month. If one day you can't afford to repay your mortgage, the bank will sell your house at a discount or even auction it off at 56% of its value. In the end, we'll be responsible for selling your foreclosed property. I truly hope there were no foreclosed homes in this world, but by the time it reaches us, it's already out of our hands. Recently, there have been more and more foreclosed properties in Shenzhen, and tragedies like this happen every day. I sincerely hope you won't be one of them. College students working 2 shifts for 6 yuan an hour, only to end up not getting paid at all, has really pushed the limits of understanding. Yesterday, I went for interviews for 3 jobs, and my goodness, I couldn't believe how low the wages they offered were. It felt like a blatant violation of labor laws. The first job interview I went to was at Luckin Coffee. I had asked them in advance on WeChat about the wage, and for the first 15 days, it's 8 yuan per hour. Can you believe there are people getting paid even less than us at this Luckin Coffee branch? So, for the first 15 days, it's 8 yuan per hour, and if you pass the barista certification, it's 15 yuan per hour for the next 15 days. If you don't pass, it's 12 yuan per hour. Basically, it's around 2,000 yuan for the first month, 2,700 yuan for the second month, and from the third month onwards, it's just base pay plus performance incentives. Then I thought about it and went for an interview at another place, a convenience store. When I asked about the wage and working hours, they said they pay by the day, 60 yuan for a shift, and a shift is 9 hours long. Plus, the morning shift starts at 7 o'clock. I haven't woken up at 7 o'clock since I was preparing for the postgraduate entrance exam. And now, just for 60 yuan, I have to start work at 7 in the morning, which means I have to get up at 6. It's outrageous. Even though at this convenience store, all you have to do is handle cash and accounts, and you can use your phone or study, but think about it, 60 yuan a day, if I work for a full 30 days, I'll only make 1,800 yuan, just 1,800 yuan. And who would wake up at 6 in the morning to go to work for 6 yuan per hour? The current situation in the freight market is dire, with many truck drivers unable to afford meals anymore. Many long-haul truck drivers can no longer afford to eat. You may not believe it if you're not in this industry, but it's the harsh reality. Unconsciously, I've been stranded here for 4 days without any work. And it's snowing again. Every morning, I buy a pastry to eat, and for lunch, I get a fast food meal from the cafeteria here, which costs about 15 yuan each. The same goes for the afternoon, another 15 yuan meal. So, in total, I spend about 36 to 37 yuan a day here. I'm not bragging about it. But many drivers can't even afford to eat. I have a few fellow drivers here, and when I offer to buy them meals, they refuse. They say they can just cook an egg in their truck. By noon, when I offer them food again, they say they can just boil a few eggs. I've been trying to treat them for days, but they feel embarrassed to accept. So, I've stopped inviting them to eat with me. Anyway, we're all stuck in our trucks, looking for cargo on our phones. It didn't used to be like this. When I first started driving, no matter how far, I would find a hotel or inn to stay. Now, most of us just stay in our trucks. Even though I'm in my truck, I still need to eat. Usually, if there's a restaurant nearby, I'll try to eat there for all 3 meals. But I don't know when it started. Even if there's a restaurant, many drivers are afraid to go. They just cook instant noodles or boil some eggs in their trucks. They all say, saving money is still money. I may not have reached that point yet, but if I keep living like this, I think one day, I'll end up like them, cooking meals in my truck. It's really tough. People from all walks of life are struggling, without seeing any signs of improvement or hope. This is the current situation for ordinary people in China.